Mob Psycho is one of my favorite animes of all time and had a really refreshing scene. I'm gonna play the scene so you get the context and then talk about it.
この缶、あんたらにこれが作れるか？このサンドイッチに挟まってる野菜を育てられるか？さっき壊したガラスのドア、自分で直せるか？当たりが出たらもう一個なんてアイデア、超能力で思いつくか？何が言いてえ！あんたたちは力が使えるくらいで自分が大きな存在だと勘違いしているだけだ。人に助けられて生きてるってこと、それに気づいた方がいいよ。
In a lot of shonen anime, people think your powers and combat abilities is all that you need in the world to survive, but that can be far from the truth. You can conquer the world, but what good will that mean if you don't have the basic necessities established? How can you rule the world without knowing how to make food, make houses, and gaining a clean source of fresh water? Mob really puts those lackeys in their place. And this show is refreshing because it shows that people's powers really aren't all that special or above anybody else's skills or abilities. Having these psychic powers really makes all of them out of touch with the world due to not understanding the basics of what goes into a society. And nothing beats when Reagan asks the Scars on how they can take over the world if they haven't even seen it.
No matter what kind of special powers you may have, you're still only human, no more and no less. It's the same for everybody. But somehow you've all forgotten that. You're so addicted to your special powers you've developed tunnel vision. You want world domination, but you haven't seen the world.
But yes, I love how Mob lets them know how special their powers are, which is really not all that special since it doesn't really contribute to society, or at least in the way they use them. Mob during the show tries his hardest to become something without his powers and wants to be known for something more than just being an Esper. And Tsubomi was a great person to meet as a kid. She really didn't care that he had these powers, and Mob thought as a little kid that it made him special, but Tsubomi put him in his place. It made him realize it's no different than any other type of ability, like jumping, or accounting, or cooking. Reagan even hits the point home when he first meets Mob.
Listen, just because you have these psychic powers and abilities, it doesn't mean you're any less of a human than anyone else. There are people who are fast, people who are book smart, and people with strong body odor. Psychic powers are just like that, another characteristic. You must embrace that characteristic as a part of yourself and continue to live positively. After all, the truth behind one's charm is kindness. So just be a good person. You got it?
This show and this scene are just constantly humbling those who think they're better than everyone and show how everyone is important to contributing to society. In Naruto, if you have mob strength, you'd become Hokage. In Attack on Titan, you'd be a warrior candidate. In this show, you get to be a nerd who joins a club to better himself. But even in our world, some view their skill as one way better than the rest, and that's far from true as well. A McDonald's worker probably makes a lot less than a basketball player, but they're just both as important to society, and I'd go even as far to say the McDonald's employee is even more important. A basketball player is an entertainer, and a McDonald's employee supplies people with the basic necessity of food. But we get so attached to money and salaries that we can't view those who make under $10 an hour as important. We really have lost touch with reality, and someone like Reagan would be great in putting people with these type of views in their places.